Hey everyone, it's Bree and I'm back with another scrapbook process video for the Shimmerz Paints Color Kits team. And I'm going to be working with the November edition color kit. And I have got the Vibes in Rose Gold Red, a Vibes in Rollin' in the Hay. There is also a Shimmerz in Peacock's Plume, and that already has liquid in it in the original Shimmerz pots. I have an Inklings in Imperial Amethyst, and it's this really gorgeous, pretty purple. And then it also comes with an exclusive dot set in Sweet Seasonals, and they are absolutely gorgeous. So that is what I'm going to be working with today. These kits are $15.95 and are still available in the shop. You guys do probably already know that once December 1st hits, the December kits will be released. Therefore, the November kits will no longer be available. So definitely snag some while you can before they're gone. So what I am doing here is I'm just trying to show y'all another technique to use with your color kits or any Shimmerz product, actually. I have done this technique before, and I just basically have taped down some vellum to a hard surface. That way my vellum wouldn't warp and curl up, because as you know, if you do add liquid to vellum, it will quickly warp and turn in and curl up. So this helps minimize some of that warping. It does bubble up, as you can see, which is fine. I do like the texture because I do plan on cutting some shapes out of these three colors here. So I've used the Imperial Amethyst, the Peacock's Plume, the Rose Gold Red, and then on a separate sheet I've sprayed Rollin' in the Hay. And all I'm doing is spraying and painting them. I don't add any additional liquid. I am just using the colors straight on there, and look how vibrant they are. So I am going to go back through and add some splatters just to give it a little something, to give it some more texture. And just, I love the look of splatters, and it kind of just breaks up the solid colors that I've painted on. So that's what I'm doing here. And I am going to let it dry overnight, and I will come back to it the next day to go ahead and cut some shapes. Now you can freehand your own shapes, you can maybe trace, you can stamp and cut out, or you can use punches. That's what I've done before. I made butterflies before with the same technique, but for this one I'm going to hand cut leaves. Now, as you can see, I had already had this with the white cardstock and those stripes already painted. This was what I had in mind, and I switched it up. So I left it in here, that way you can see me fussy cut, not fussy cutting, but free cutting, is that even a word? Because it's not, is it freehanding when you're drawing? But I'm not sure what it's called when you're just basically just rough cutting some leaves. But I left it in here. I do end up changing the whole entire layout. So I will set this piece of white cardstock aside and save it for a different project. So I am just, yeah, like I said, cutting out the leaf shapes with some scissors and just keeping it rough and organic and not really thinking too hard about them. I am going to run them through my sewing machine, and you'll see those finished leaves here in just a second. So I pulled out another sheet of white cardstock, and I'm using my October Hip Kit Club kit. This is the main kit, and I've tore into some of the Pretty Little Studio pattern papers here, and I'm going to layer those up at the top with some mixed media on the bottom. So I do add some white gesso here off camera, that way you don't have to worry about seeing that. So I've got my pattern papers all glued down, my white gesso already applied, and then on the left of my screen you can see all the leaves that I've created. Now, I did get inspired by some vellum leaves that came in my Hip Kit Club kit. I believe they are also from Pretty Little Studio. I don't think, yeah, they are from Pretty Little Studio. So as soon as I saw those, I thought that would be awesome to use that same technique and then to create my own leaves and then also incorporate some of those Pretty Little Studio leaves as well. So what I'm doing here is I am adding a little more mixed media onto my background. I've added Rollin' in the Hay, and then I've also added some of the Rose Gold Red. Now, I'm sure you've heard quite a few people say about or talk about like red sprays or color, how sometimes it can look like blood splatters. Unfortunately, as kind of weird as that sounds. So what I did here is I don't mind some red splatters. I didn't, that's why I kind of mopped up some of the red because it did kind of look, that's what it looked like to me. So I added some of the Rollin' in the Hay, and it also allows you to make more colors out of your kit. That's why I wanted to show y'all that you can add orange. Obviously, if you add red with the yellow, you're going to get orange. So that's basically what I'm doing here. I wanted to keep it like a darker orange, so I, kind of messed with the colors a little bit, added a little more red to my yellow, and created that lovely orange color that you see there. So it's very simple, the background. I did just want to keep it the orange, yellow, and red tones because the blue and the purple were already in my leaves, and I didn't want to add too much on my background. I wanted to keep it pretty simple. That way my leaves could really stand up and be vibrant on the page. And when you look at this kit, you're kind of like, okay, purple, blue, yellow, and red, is that usually a color scheme that I would go with? And it's usually not one that I would gravitate more towards. So this was a fun challenge for me. It allowed me to step outside of my box. It allowed me to get creative. That's why I did leave in that footage where, you did see that I had an original layout in mind and it didn't work. That's kind of, when I create, I sit down, I think about what I want to create in my head. And then if it doesn't work, then you just like chuck it, like get rid of it, try again. Create something that you love, that you are enjoying making, and if you're not enjoying it, or if you don't like it, then what's the point of, continuing on if you're not feeling it? And that previous layout, I was not feeling it. I didn't like the stripes. I had something in mind, and when I started putting it down on paper, it wasn't coming out the way I envisioned it. Sorry for my head. So that's why I reverted to this, and I absolutely love how this layout turned out. This layout did take a few days because I was trying to figure out and how I wanted it, and I wanted to love it, and I ended up loving it, and I'm so happy that I went that route. Okay, so while I was like chatting on, I have layered up or matted my photo with a couple of the pattern papers from my kit, and then I'm going to go in and start layering in some of these beautiful leaves that I created. I'm going to have a little cluster at the top left in between my little pattern paper layers, and then I'm also going to go ahead and cluster some of these leaves on both sides of my photo. Now this is a photo of my son's a long time ago, probably 9 years ago. I have documented, I believe, this photo, but it was a smaller version in a mini album, and it's one of my favorites of them playing in some leaves, so I thought it warranted a 12 by 12 layout by itself. And you know me, I am all for scrapbooking the same photo multiple times. Okay, so I've got my layers of leaves there, and then I'm going to pull in some of these exclusive ephemera pieces from my kit, and I've added some gold thread, and then I'm going to go ahead and pull in my exclusive dots. Now in my footage, I only show 2 of these dots being added, but after I turned off the camera, I was able to maneuver the third one on. I moved my little fox here down, and then I added one nestled where there's like a little space, I guess you can see, where his body curves, where his tail kind of comes up, where that flower is. I end up moving that flower and putting the third dot in that area, and you'll see in the final photos how I did that, or that I did it. I did add a little piece that says I love fall most of all, and yeah, like I said, I'm layering these leaves, and then I'm also throwing in those other leaves that I got in my kit that inspired me to begin with. I thought I could layer those in between, and yeah, I just love the colors of the blues and the purples, and to me, it all just came together. And the fact that the dots have a lot of purple in them, I would have never matched purple with the orange and the yellow. Like, it's very fallish, and they're just great colors together, in my opinion. I'm really pleased with how this layout came out, and I love these kits. Every month, they are just so convenient. You don't have to put any thought into it. They just come exactly how they are, already coordinated, and you just add your favorite collections with it. Yeah, so I'm just kind of ruffling up those edges, just gluing things down and figuring out where I want to put stuff. I do have all those exclusive pieces on the right, but not all of them make it. I didn't want to overshadow all those pretty leaves, so I just kept my cute little owl and my fox and then that cute little cupcake up at the top. That's pretty much all I add. And then I'm choosing my title here. I do keep it, I believe it says Simple Joys, because it was just, like I said before, it's just a simple little photo shoot of them playing in the leaves, and they had so much fun. Yeah, so that about does it. Stay tuned for the final photos. Don't forget, if you do place an order, here's the final layout. There's that third dot. I love it. Yeah, if you do place an order with Shimmerz, don't forget to leave my name in the notes comments section of your order and you'll receive a free gift. Thanks so much for watching, commenting, and subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.